percussion? Listen. Pretty. So those are some of the chords we know, and one new one, the G7, the G7. So, G7, you guys, I've gotten really good with the other chords, okay? If you still need practice with the other chords, go back and watch the other videos. This is a G7 video, all right? So, now take a look. G7 is going to make like a little triangle, and we're going to use the bottom 3 strings. These bottom 3 strings. Your first finger is going to go here, okay? Not the first one, but the second string up. Then your second finger is going to come over here and over here. So if you look at it like this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you what it looks like. Hold your horses. Okay, so here we go. We got our chart, which you know how to look at, right? So in this chart, it's like when we have our instrument, it's like we take our instrument as we turn it to the side. So this is our first string, the one that's closest to the floor. All right, so watch how it's going to be a little triangle. Remember I said we're going to use the bottom 3 strings, these ones here. The first one's going to go in the middle of those 3, so right there. So I'm going to put a number 1 right there. That's where your first finger goes. Your second finger is going to go over. It's going to go all the way over there. That's where your second finger is. So it's kind of right. It's kind of like an F, isn't it? Except the second finger is here on an F. So it's like an F chord, but you move your second finger over. And we need our third finger. It's a 3-finger chord. A 3-finger chord. It's your first 3-finger chord, but it's a real important chord to learn. It's a real important chord to learn. Okay, that's what it looks like. You see, it kind of looks like a little triangle. Yeah, it's like little triangle. All right, but we have to make sure we've got these boxy fingers, especially on that second finger. It can't touch these other strings, otherwise it won't sound good. Okay, so let me show you how to get ready for that G7. First finger. The second string up from the bottom. We go there in the first fret. My second finger is going to go over to the next one. That's our third string from the bottom. And our third finger is going to also be in the second fret. They're also in the second fret. That's the chord. And guess what we play after we have a G7? We play a C. So now how did I do that? Look at that. Here's my C chord. Here's my G7, first finger, second, third. Okay, there's my G7. And then I lift up 1 and 2. I lift up 1 and 2, and my third finger slides up 1 fret. Now I'm going to give you an easy way. So to go from C to G7, it might be a little tricky right now. So here's what we're going to learn today. Okay, and you're going to need to practice this. It's going to be a little bit tricky at first. Okay, start with our C chord. And then we're going to do our F chord. Remember our F chord. First finger, second finger, you know your F chord. There you go. Now look, we're just going to move that second finger back 1 string, and we're going to add our third finger onto that bottom string. That's pretty easy. So we go from F, move that over and add that 1 third finger, and then lift up 1 and 2 and move up 1 fret. Let's see. Now, if you can play those 3 chords, wow, tons of songs you can play, like so many songs you can play with those 3 chords. That's why it's really important to practice that G7. You practice that G7, then you're good. You're good. You can like play tons of music. All right. Now, if you're like, oh, that's too hard. All right. It's hard in the beginning. Everything is hard in the beginning. When you don't know how, it's hard. When you're starting something new, it's hard. You have to just push past that hard part. And you know what? Don't think about how hard it is. Think about how fun it's going to be when you can play it. It's going to be so fun to be. I'm going to play for my class. And I'm going to have a concert. And I'm going to play this. And everybody's going to love it. They're going to clap and say, oh my God, you're so good. How did you do it? And you're going to say, I practiced. Every time you practice, every time you try it, it will get easier. It's hard in the beginning. You practice it once, it'll get a little bit easier. You practice it twice, it'll be even easier. And again, it'll be even easier. And it just keeps getting easier and easier. But if you practice once and then you don't practice for 2 weeks and you practice another time again, it'll be a little bit easier, but it'll be kind of like starting it over. It's kind of like starting over, a little bit like starting over. So really, practice it and then you can play. It's so fun. And with those 3 chords, I tell you, you'll be set for a long time. If you say, that's it, I'm done, I don't want to learn any more chords, I'll say, okay, no worries. You got the 3 most important chords down. Go for it, right? So practice, really try it. And it's going to feel weird at first, but you're going to just get your fingers used to where to go. Go slow. They will know, and then pretty soon, you know what's going to happen? They're going to just know where to go. They'll just do it by themselves, and you won't even be thinking. You'll be like, whoa, my fingers are playing, and I don't even have to think. That's what happens. So practice. I can't wait to hear you next week. Sorry we didn't have lessons today. It was a little bit of a strange day. Everything was unusual, and I had to help out in Reggio, so I didn't get a chance to do your lessons today. So I'm doing this right now, so you can still learn and you can still practice, okay? See you next week. Bye, guys.